Hey everybody, welcome to Did You Hear About This? My name is Bill.
I am Scott.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing okay. I am getting old and I can't live without hurting.
Welcome to my world. I was planting trees with my team the other day.
Oh.
I planted 6 trees and they planted 100 each. Like, I was like, oh my God, I can't keep up with these young guys anymore.
First of all, very altruistic of you looking for a green future.
Yeah.
I love that. I sneezed today and I felt like somebody stabbed me in the shoulder blade.
I played guitar yesterday. I hurt my leg so bad. I had to go to bed last night with Ben Gay put on it. All because a guitar was laying on my leg. We're like, you know what we're doing? We're comparing old people's scars.
We are. This is sad. I intentionally slept on a lazy boy chair last night, wrapped in a heating pad, because I knew if I laid flat in bed, I'd hurt in the morning.
But you know what? If I had a heating pad, I'd probably be doing it too. No shame. No shame in the heating pad game.
Yeah, so this is my life. This is where I am now. This is me.
Yeah, man, with the pains, the aches and pains, with hangovers now being the worst fucking thing in the world, and just being like generally tired sooner. So I told you upstairs and a little bit here, my team came into town, and when they're here, it's a lot of talking, it's a lot of socializing, it's a lot of meetings, and I used to be able to handle all of it, come home like, yeah, let's do some more. By about noon, I was wiped out every single day. And today's only Thursday. Got one more day in it.
So I do a lot of training at my job, and we just had a lot of new people start. So I'm training a lot of people. So I'm like on all the time, like train, simulations, implementing new trainings, crazy shit like that. So I just talk. I swear I get home from work and I'm like, don't talk to me. I don't feel like talking.
Yeah.
I'm done talking. I'm all talked out.
100%.
Yeah.
Me too.
Just can't be on. And now I come here and do a fucking podcast.
I know. There's been a couple times I'm like, oh, talked all day. Now I got to talk to this guy.
This fucking guy.
There's something to be said about a mental tax.
Yeah.
Yeah. You work too hard when you're older, that mental tax, you pay the price a lot more.
Especially when you're mentally taxed to begin with. I mean, I'm operating at a deficit, I feel.
Yeah, I know. I didn't start out with a good engine.
It wasn't a full tank.
That's so funny.
I was maybe 3/4 at most.
Yeah. The cheap fuel.
Yeah, that's right.
The super unleaded, whatever.
This is like octane 85.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
This might be for flex fuel vehicles only, buddy. This is not for cars made before 1970.
We're running with kerosene.
It's petrol.
How many different fuels can we name? Oh, so you have the main topic today, and you haven't told me what it is.
I think I have a pretty good story. We're going to talk about cryptids. Are you familiar with cryptids?
The crypto?
No, I'm not going to be a crypto bro. This is cryptids. These are mythological creatures and animals that are reported and believed by many to be true, but scientifically they're not recognized as real creatures or animals in the real world.
So are we talking like unicorns? Are we talking goblins?
That's more mythological, and I did write mythological, but I'm talking more like the world famous ones. We're thinking Bigfoot. We're thinking Loch Ness Monster. We're thinking the Yeti, the Chupacabra from Mexico. You know, like there's stories, there's legends, there's a lot of urban myths about these things, but there's no real scientific evidence or, you know, there's no taxidermy, there's no footprints, there's none of that stuff.
You mean nobody's got a stuffed Bigfoot in their house?
Not a real one. That's the problem. A lot of these things are even more discredited because of people trying to scam and pull pranks and shit like that.
All right, I like this topic. I've always remembered seeing that Bigfoot picture that everybody's seen, or the Loch Ness Monster picture, and just they tell me it's Bigfoot. I go, okay. When I was a kid, I was like, I guess it's real. Now I don't believe it.
Well, we're going to focus a lot more on like the more regional U.S. cryptids. Now, there's hundreds of these things out there. We're going to focus on maybe a handful of more local, more regional ones here in the good old U.S. of A.
All right, that's a cool topic.
Yeah.
All monsters, too, so we're close to Halloween, so why not?
That's kind of where I thought it was going. And funny story, kind of going hand in hand with this. The Ford Motor Company is releasing a package for a Ford Explorer. It is a Bigfoot tracking edition. It's going to have on everything you need to drive a Ford Explorer off-road into the forests and find yourself a Bigfoot.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Your own Harry and the Hendersons.
That's right. You could be John Lithgow.
You could be John Lithgow.
Go on! Get out of here! Don't you? Oh, I just hurt my just doing that. Don't you understand? We don't want you.
Oh, man. I remember that scene. I remember that scene.
That scene made me like sad as a kid.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
I guess we weren't wanted. It was like, too close to home.
Poor Harry. He looked so innocent and so hurt by the whole thing. He didn't know that he was trying to save him by sending him away.
Yeah, true.
Well,
that was a great costume, too. I think that was a Stan Winston costume.
So good.
That was a great one.
That's what I want Bigfoot to look like in real life.
I like some of those Bigfoot beef jerky commercials. Have you
Sasquatch? Messing with Sasquatch.
I like them, too.
They're funny.
They're good. Well, since we're talking about Halloween, we can't forget our last episode. Last episode, we talked about unique facts about our favorite horror movies.
Yes.
Well, someone had sent one in. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you like our show, please like and subscribe and do all that shit. Please tell a friend. Just tell one friend. Just one.
Pretty please, with sugar on top.
Maybe two, if you really like us.
We know you have friends.
Yeah. We don't.
We have each other.
We have each other. So tell your friends about us so we can grow our numbers. But if you listened to last week's show, hopefully you enjoyed that. But you can go to Spotify, a bunch of the different platforms we're on, have a little text number that you can text us a message, and this message got sent to me. So we missed a interesting fact about a horror movie.
Oh, which one?
Well, we actually did cover this one. We covered The Exorcist, but not this story. The sound of the demon's voice was achieved using raw egg yolks. Actress Mercedes McCambridge, who voiced the demon, would drink raw eggs and chain smoke to create the guttural, raspy voice added to the eerie realism of the character. Additionally, she insisted on being bound to a chair during recordings to physically replicate the strain of possession, making the performance even more unsettling.
Wow.
Now, that's some acting.
I got to go back to what we said last episode, too. Good job to the gaffers and the voice actors and the people that bring this shit to life.
Funny you should mention that. I also have a fuck-uppery.
Oh, what?
Brother Steve, the corrector. So we were talking about, you said gaffers. So Brother Steve let us know it's Foley artists.
Foley. Okay, thank you, Steve.
Those are the guys that make the different sound effects.
What's a gaffer do?
Yeah, what's a gaffer? I think the gaffer is the gaffer the guy that holds the lights?
I don't even want to guess. It's next week's fuck-uppery.
That's the mic operator, boom mic operator.
His name's Mike.
You gotta hire a mic. Yeah, there's gaffer, there's boom mic operator, there's Foley, there's Fluffer. Can't forget Fluffer. Well, thank you for that correction. We like making sure you guys don't leave with bad information. So, Steve the corrector has saved us again. Do you have any fuck-upperies?
I do. And I actually buzzed it on the edit because after I did the edit, I was like, this isn't right. I said that Captain EO, Michael Jackson's Epcot movie, was directed by Steven Spielberg, and it was not. It was actually directed by, and this could be why it was the most expensive movie at the time, Francis Ford Coppola.
Was it really?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
And back then, he was known for The Godfather. I don't know what else. Well, the things before The Godfather, but like nothing was bigger than The Godfather. So he was probably in his prime.
Yeah. So it was. I wasn't wrong that it was the most expensive movie, but it wasn't Spielberg. It was Francis Ford Coppola.
I still want to see that Megalopolis. Did it come out?
Oh,
yeah.
It's
out and bombed. Of course it came out. What an
You
idiot.
big dummy.
What an idiot I am. And Joker, too. Oof. That thing's still not doing well.
No, and the more that people talk about the Joker, the more other people are just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
My boss at work went to go see it on Saturday, having not seen Joker 1. So she went in with no expectations. I kind of filled her in on Joker 1 so she would like not be completely lost.
Yeah.
And she texted me before the movie started. She says, yeah, we're 2 of 6 people in this entire movie theater.
Yeah.
I think by the time it ended, she may have been 2 of 2.
Most movies that make $1 billion like the Joker 1, when it makes a sequel, if the sequel bombs, there's still a big bump and then a drop. This one never even had its bump.
No bump.
That's
no bump.
Fucking nuts. That's knuckin' futs.
This just in. In film and television crews, the gaffer or chief lighting technician is the head electrician responsible for the execution of the lighting plan for a production.
There we go.
That's what a gaffer does.
Now look up Fluffer. Do you know what a fluffer is?
It just says here that the fluffer is good with his hands.
Not the hands.
Well, that's where he starts.
Well, going back to the Joker before we get in trouble for X-rated content, I heard a whole dissertation on it today about why people hate it.
Okay.
Did you hear about that? I guess we can talk. I mean, it's spoiler stuff, but
I mean, it's only a week out. I think we're still under like the gag order for spoilers. No.
Yeah. All right. We'll have
save
to
it
save
for
it
next week.
It's an interesting take that, if true, it's fascinating.
Okay.
So we'll try to remember.
I have
for
my
next
thoughts on it too.
Yeah.
But we'll go.
Will you go see it?
No, I don't think I want to. I'll wait for streaming. And the way it's going, it should be out on streaming in no time.
I know. Tomorrow. It'll be out.
I mean, you can already stream Beetlejuice.
You can?
Yeah.
The more something bombs, the faster it comes to streaming, it seems now.
I don't think that bombed. I just don't think it did as well as they hoped.
Yeah.
But it didn't it wasn't The Crow.
Ghostbuster Frozen Empire streamed before it was even released. It was that bad.
It should have. It was filmed like it was a direct-to-streamer.
Oof. Well, before we get to the news, as we always do by the end of the show, why don't we jump into this topic?
Into the cryptids.
Into the cryptos.
Cryptos. Bitcoin is crushing right now.
Dogecoin.
Doge. So the term cryptid comes from the term cryptozoology. And cryptozoology is a pseudoscience that studies myths and fables surrounding these creatures. None of this, again, is recognized by the scientific world. I feel as though cryptozoologists, as they call themselves, or these monster hunters, are out trying to prove their existence, as where real scientists, not even going out of their way to disprove, they're just like, yeah, we don't care, we don't believe it. And that's kind of where the world is right now.
So it's a pseudoscience, and you could still be famous for this. There's still a lot of people listening to these guys. I know there's a ton of these kind of YouTube channels on these conspiracies and these monsters, and yeah, it's a great way to make a living.
We live in a world where real science is not believed, and fake science is embraced wholeheartedly.
Yep,
because it's counterculture to what the smart people believe.
Bullshit sells.
Yeah, and people are hungry for bullshit. So, as I said at the top of the show here, globally known, we have Bigfoot. To your earlier point, Bigfoot, when you saw the pictures of Bigfoot and you're a kid, you're like, all right, Bigfoot must be real. Why not?
He's blurry. He's always blurry.
The story I read that talked about the Ford Explorer, or the Ford Expedition, rather, with the Bigfoot package, it said it comes complete with a 4-megapixel grainy camera, so you can snap that picture and prove it once and for all.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. That'd be great if it was true.
Yeah. I was talking with some people at work, and they were saying that, back in the day, not everybody had cameras. It wasn't like a very mobile technology when some of these things were talked about. So there's no real good photographic evidence. Some of it's just like pictures and hand-drawn things that cartoonists and illustrators put in newspapers at the time. But nowadays, we're all walking around with fucking 50 megapixel cameras on our phones, 3 different lenses, and nobody has a good picture of anything.
Yeah, that's my favorite part. Nobody has any proof of any of this stuff.
And to say all that, it's not like I can even say seeing is believing, because we know what AI can do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Keep it vague and fuzzy and blotchy, and don't try to do anything high def. And
as long as people want to believe, somebody's going to believe your story. That's what it comes down to.
Make it look shitty and they'll fall for it. That's what we've learned.
So that's Bigfoot. And Loch Ness Monster. Everybody knows the Loch Ness Monster over in Ireland.
Well, before you go there, where is Bigfoot supposed to be located?
Well, that's the thing. There's a version of Bigfoot really all over the world. And we'll get into one of them. And we can start there if you want.
All right, let's do it.
Let's hop right to our Sunshine State. Florida's version of Bigfoot is the skunk ape.
The skunk ape?
The skunk ape apparently resides in the Everglades. And he is essentially a bipedal mammal. He walks around the Everglades, and he is known for his stench.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
He's also known as the cabbage ape and Bigfoot.
All I can see is like a giant Pepe Le Pew.
No, he's colored not like a skunk.
No,
He's
skunk
known
tail.
as, they call him the skunk ape because of his stench, but it's like a really strong musky animal smell. But he's not a skunk. He looks like Bigfoot. He looks like Harry from Harry and the Hendersons.
Now I'm thinking in my head of Skunkor from He-Man. Was that his name? Skunkor.
Skunko, I think it was. Funny enough, at their Halloween event, remember Gatorland, the gator museum that has the big alligator head out front that was featured prominently in National Lampoon's Vacation?
No, I don't remember it in that, but I just watched a Roadside Attractions YouTube video and they talked about it.
If you watch the opening scenes from National Lampoon's Vacation, like they show like a bunch of different postcards from like roadside attractions.
Oh, yeah.
The big alligator entryway into Alligator Land in Florida is featured in that.
Oh.
So they have a Halloween event this time of year, and they have somebody dressed up like the skunk ape, and he's hilarious.
That's great.
Yeah. So the Florida man version of Bigfoot, if you will. That's the skunk ape.
The skunk ape.
And really, all of these cryptids, like I said, there's hundreds of them. If you look online, there's a whole Wikipedia. All my stuff came from Wikipedia and Fangoria. Also, up in Portland, Maine, they actually have a cryptid museum. You can go in and they have like, this is a plaster of Paris from a Bigfoot, and this is like a hair sample, and this is a sample of shit from a roadhog, like some crazy cryptid. But they have all kinds of empirical evidence, quote unquote, for these cryptids, and there's a whole museum for it.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. I was up in Portland. I didn't even know about this until I did the research for this show. So I didn't go.
Road trip.
Yeah. Portland was a weird city. That's why something like this could exist there.
Yeah. That's what I've always heard. That's why I want to go there so bad. They're my people.
Well, like I said, hundreds, if not thousands of these out there online that you can see. And they all do pretty much fall into certain categories. Do you have like your Bigfoots? You have your sea serpents or your Loch Ness monster types. And then you have some that are maybe a different animal or like a huge version of an animal that we know exists. And then there's like the ones that are just straight up frauds, where like the Fiji mermaid, where the Fiji mermaid was something that P.T. Barnum put together. And it was basically a taxidermy of the back half of a fish and the front half of a baby monkey. And they sewed them together. And he's like, look, proof that a mermaid existed.
Wasn't there a scientist in South Park that was making things like that?
Man Bear Pig?
Yeah, right.
Kinda. Yeah, he had Patrick Duffy for a leg.
What about Punky Monkey Baby or whatever that thing was?
Oh,
Puppy Monkey Baby.
Puppy Monkey Baby, yeah. Yeah. Could have been a cryptid.
Could have been a cryptid.
But he didn't make the list that I saw. Yeah, another example of the whole taxidermy thing is like the jackalope, where it's like a giant jackrabbit that has deer antlers on its head.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought that was a real thing when I was a kid.
So did I, because we live in Pennsylvania. It's a hunting area, and
yeah,
the gag, I guess, around, amongst hunters is to make one of these and hang it on your wall. So when I would see them, I'm like, wow, that's real. Totally fell for that. Totally.
So let's go around the rest of the country here. Let's start right here in Pennsylvania. Have you ever heard of the squonk?
Ah, the squonk.
Squonk.
Squonk. No.
Squonk.
What is the squonk?
Squonk is also known as the sad squonk of Pennsylvania. It's described as a wrinkly pig-like creature covered in warts.
Ugh.
Yeah, and as if that wasn't fun enough, it reportedly spends its entire life crying and weeping, and hunters can find it by following puddles of tears on the ground.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
This is the most sad sack thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's like a mutant Eeyore.
It lives in the hemlock forest, allegedly, of northern Pennsylvania, and was first reported in a 1910 book where loggers reported seeing it frequently amongst the logging cabins and the logging campsites.
How could you see tears? Like, what were they, little puddles of water? You're like, oh, those must be skronk tears.
Must be the squonk.
There's no way they really believe this.
I don't know.
This has to just be one of those things they just say for fun.
This is one of those things where if you look it up online, no photographs, artistic renderings, which look hilarious.
They probably look like some people in central Pennsylvania.
Northern Pennsylvania. But yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Let's take a turn to the east and we'll visit the Garden State here, New Jersey. You probably heard of this one, the Jersey Devil.
I have heard of the Jersey Devil. It's a hockey team.
I was just going to say. Most popular because of the hockey team of the same name. I'm sure there might be people out there that don't know what the Jersey Devil is and think that the Jersey Devils are just called that because of, there's teams called the Devils.
A lot of Satanists in Jersey.
Well, I mean, Arizona State University has the Sun Devils. That's their mascot. Duke University has the Blue Devils. Like, the Devils aren't an uncommon mascot for a team.
For the Devils!
But the real Jersey Devil dates back to 1973. And the story goes as this. Deborah Leeds, also known as Mother Leeds, because she already had 12 children, upon learning that she was pregnant with her 13th child, out of frustration, claimed, "This child will be the devil." What do you think happened?
She had a 12th kid who turned into the devil.
Well, the 13th kid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, can't count. Told you, bad at math.
Well, the child was born, and midwives there said the child was born looking like any other normal dribbling baby, newborn.
Dribbling?
Sure, dribbled. Suddenly transforms into now this next part gets a little hazy. Some people say horse-headed, some people say kangaroo-headed, some people say dog-headed animal with goat horns.
Oh.
Cloven feet, leathery bat-like wings, and a forked tail.
That's what the Jersey Devil is supposed to look like?
Again, only artist renderings. It then squealed/screamed, blood-curdling scream, they say, flew up the chimney into the Jersey Pine Barrens, which for those that don't know, around Atlantic City, there is about 1 million acres of pine tree forests that are undeveloped, maybe undevelopable, I don't know. It's like a huge swatch of real estate in southern Jersey.
Well, that fucking devil won't let anybody build there.
Well, that's because he still lives there hundreds of years later to this day.
Wow. I always figured the Jersey Devil looked like the Tasmanian Devil.
No, this thing is comical. Google an image for the Jersey Devil.
I will. But does it go?
I didn't even think of the test. Especially rabbit. Next up, Mothman.
Mothman. So like the Mothman Prophecies, that movie.
What do you know about it?
Nothing. That's one of the things that when I hear Mothman, I kind of go, one day I gotta have Scott tell me about Mothman.
Today's that day, sir. The Mothman, most famous for his 2002 The Mothman Prophecies starring Richard Gere, was actually first seen around Point Pleasant, West Virginia. He has a very specific timeline here. He was seen from November 15th, 1966 through December 15th, 1967. So only for like 23 months he's been seen. He is reported to be a 7-foot-tall man-bird creature with glowing red eyes. So naysayers believe that the creature was actually a lost sandhill crane or heron that's not native to the area because they can be tall. They can be like 7 foot tall, apparently. And they do have glowing, like iridescent eyes. If you shine like a flashlight on it, you would see glowing red eyes. But in 1975, a book, The Mothman Prophecies, was written, and they connected the Mothman sightings with other paranormal events. And the big one was every time the Mothman was seen, something catastrophic happened. And the one that they really focused on was this big bridge, Silver Bridge in the Point Pleasant area, just collapsed. People died, and it happened right when the Mothman was seen.
That bridge was probably gonna collapse. Like, catastrophic shit always happens.
Yeah, you can draw conclusions however you want.
It's gotta be the Mothman. No, it's called reality. Shit happens.
And in my mind, of all the cryptid stories I've read, this is like, yeah, it was a giant bird. I mean, they're in my backyard.
Mothman hangs out with Elephant Man and Batman. And
Elephant Man was real. That was not a cryptid.
Oh, well, Batman, is he a cryptid?
No, he's a superhero, which I can say without being legally prosecuted.
That's right. We're allowed to say that now.
So yeah, the Mothman, because of this book, became like an omen, a harbinger of bad things to come.
Okay. Stay the fuck away from that guy.
Yeah.
Glad he's gone. He was gone until they made a sequel to that movie with Ashton Kutcher.
Did they?
I'm pretty sure.
You're thinking of The Butterfly Effect.
Damn it.
You know what's funny, though? When I first read Mothman, I thought Ashton Kutcher, too.
What's that effect called when you...
That's the butterfly effect.
No.
Oh, the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. There's a third movie in this whole thing. We got to match the word.
Shaquille O'Neal's in it, and he plays a genie.
Oh, my God. This third movie's going to be incredible. Bringing Ashton Kutcher and Richard Gere together for the first time with Shaquille O'Neal.
All right, I got two more here. This one I didn't hear of at all. He's from Kansas. His name is Sinkhole Sam. The reason I picked Sinkhole Sam out of all these hundreds of cryptids is it was described that he may have been the inspiration, and this is according to Fangoria, he may have been the inspiration of the giant worm that almost ate the Millennium Falcon when they parked down inside the crater inside the asteroid storm.
Oh, he was the sandworm that came out of the...
I don't think this is a cave.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's rumored that, at least by Fangoria again, that Sinkhole Sam may have inspired that character. Because he's a giant sandworm that...
Because Dune couldn't have done it.
Well, right. And Lord knows that George Lucas took a lot from Dune.
Right.
Well, Sinkhole Sam is a giant sandworm-looking creature that creates sinkholes wherever it crawls.
Unlike the other thing that creates stink holes. Am I right? The skunk ape?
The skunk
ape. Whatever.
The skunk ape.
They're all running together. I want to make one monster. One wuzzle of them all.
Sam the skunk ape. Last up, and I thought of you as soon as I read this, because if you go back to our terrible superhero episode, you had a character very much like this. Vermont's Pigman.
Pigman. I remember the HorseHog. Are we talking about the HorseHog?
I feel bad for whoever this may have been, because this is a description I got on Wikipedia. In the 1970s, several farmers in Northfield, Vermont, spotted what was, quote, a man with a pig face digging through their garbage for food. I just think there was an ugly drifter out there that was hungry.
100%.
And now this poor bastard's forever known as Pigman.
Oh, I got a story for you real fast. So in college, I went to Penn State. I had two roommates. One was very ugly. And we had him play a monster in my college film. And we ran the camera by him a few times. And I remember my professor saying, real good touch. The monster looked good. I don't know where you found that mask.
And it was his face.
And it was his poor face.
Oh, man, he could have been Pigman.
He could have been Pigman. He wasn't around a lot, so it makes sense he was out haunting people.
Oh, he was just hungry, digging through garbage. So, I said that I think maybe Mothman was the easiest explained away. This was just an ugly, hungry guy.
That's it.
There's hundreds of them out there.
There's thousands of them out there. Again, central and north Pennsylvania.
No, actually, Pigman was Vermont.
Yeah. Well, they tend to migrate north.
But there was examples in all 50 states. Hawaii, Alaska, it didn't matter where they were at. Regional, local people will believe anything.
There are a lot of dummies out there. There really are a lot of dummies out there. I guarantee everybody who saw a Pigman also was abducted by aliens.
Well, I was just going to say, in doing this research, I almost don't want to include aliens as cryptids. Because I feel like cryptids should be animals that are Earth-based creatures that might have a speck of truth in them or a speck of biology in them. I feel like an alien is more like, let the UFOologists, keep the UFOologists and the cryptologists out of each other's business,
Yeah. But my favorite is still Bigfoot. I wish somebody could reveal that Bigfoot was really like a nude Robin Williams walking around in the woods one day when he thought he was getting some alone time. Like
that kind of happened on The Simpsons with Homer, remember?
No.
Yeah. He was on a Boy Scout trip with Bart, and his clothes got taken away, and he got stuck in the mud, and he photographed him, and they were actually out shooting a fake Bigfoot movie in the episode, and then they were like, hey, what's that? And they showed Homer, and he was like covered in mud except for his big white belly, or yellow belly, I guess as it would have been. And they were like, Bigfoot's real. And he had honey in his mouth. He was going, yeah.
I like Bigfoot.
So to answer your original question, the Pacific Northwest, like Washington, like the big, and I guess even the Redwood Forests of California, they're all known to have Bigfoot sightings. There are Bigfoot festivals in West Virginia and Tennessee, and there's just festivals. People like gravitate towards these events to like celebrate these cryptids.
And they all must be believers.
Yeah.
They're probably not. They're probably just having fun like we are.
Out for a good party.
Yeah. All right, we should do it. We're going to do it.
We're going to do the Bigfoot Festival?
We're going to do the Bigfoot Festival.
I love it. On YouTube, I actually saw the Bigfoot Festival. Last year, they had a Bigfoot Alice Cooper up on stage playing guitar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn. Wait a minute. You can watch this on YouTube?
Oh, yeah. He was a huge cryptid fan.
Who?
You ever watch Jacob the Carpetbagger?
No.
Yeah, he's friends with Adam the Woo and Justin Scard. So he does the same kind of thing. He's all over the country. He goes to all these things, and he's a huge cryptid believer.
Well, I got great news. I just saved you some money. We don't have to go anywhere. We can watch it on YouTube.
Watch it tonight.
That's great. Thank you, Carpetbagger.
Well, that's all I got for cryptids, but believe it or not, I mean, spooky or not, I don't know. I see weird shit. I saw a giant deer on my drive here, and I was like, oh, shit. But it was a deer, clearly.
Just a poor little deer.
If I was drunk, or if the deer had an ugly face, maybe I'd think it was something else, but it wasn't. It was a deer. You know, we do have some kind of deer disease going on right now where it makes them look like zombies. Like their skin like is deteriorating, like being eaten.
Whoa.
Real nasty looking shit. You can Google that too if you have the stomach for it. But yeah, it looks like there's zombie deer like in the woods of Pennsylvania.
We just need a cool name and we'll get right on Wikipedia and we'll make this thing a reality.
Shit up there. I'm going to post it right up there next to the squonk.
Well, that's a great name. Who came up with that one?
Squonk is my favorite.
Squonk.
The sad squonk of northern Pennsylvania.
Oh, don't step in his teardrops.
I'd be more worried about stepping in his shit.
Yeah. Well, if you have a favorite, a favorite cryptid out there in listener land, send it in. I want to hear what we missed here.
Yeah. If you know any facts, I'd love to hear firsthand accounts. If you have any firsthand accounts with cryptids, let us know that. If we didn't talk about your favorite, let us know what your favorite is. We'll cover it. Or if I just missed something interesting about the ones I did cover, I'd love to hear from you.
I think we're going to name this episode Cryptids Are Real, just to get the clicks.
Oh.
All right.
We might get plenty.
We really might. We really might.
And the cryptids might be. I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying there seem to be, for some of them, much more believable explanations.
I'll say it for you. They're not real.
So the baby didn't turn into a horse-faced devil?
No,
come on.
No, it flew out of the chimney.
And it's not still alive 300 years later?
No.
Come on.
Nobody can do that but vampires.
The chupacabra. Maybe that was a vampire.
Oh, what's the chupacabra?
The chupacabra is a lizard-like creature from Mexico, and I believe also New Mexico. Chupacabra is actually Mexican for, it translates to goat sucker, and it actually does like vampirically suck the blood out of goats.
Oh, that's a fluffer.
Oh, we're back here again.
That's right. Chupacabra is a word I've always heard. I assumed it was a bat of some sort.
It has bat-like features.
All right.
Although, if you were ever a fan of Dexter's Laboratory, you'll know that the chupacabra's real name is Charlie, and he was created by Dexter in his laboratory.
How are you a fan of Dexter's Laboratory?
Oh, big fan.
Wow. Well, yeah, you're a big kid, just like me.
Right.
Like all of a sudden, I'm shaming you for watching cartoons.
I was
going to
say, I'm curious how this is shocking to you. I don't understand what the confusion is.
Oh, it's been a long week, Scott.
It has been.
Well, what do you say? You want to do some news?
Well, let me get to some icy hot so I can get this back pain to go away.
Keep drinking this whiskey. It'll help.
It is a painkiller.
All right. I don't have too many stories. We're going to move through these pretty quick. It's been a slow week for news.
Not for P. Diddy.
Oh, it's been a lot of news for P. Diddy.
I'm just tired of reading it.
We got to let all that sort of
let
gather
that breathe.
Up. Yeah.
I don't need to have any lawsuits against me.
Well, I don't know where I got this story from because I forgot to write it down, but Logan's brown and tan suit. Remember that in the movie?
Yeah, he was fighting the Hulk in it.
Well, my favorite scene.
Yeah.
I love seeing the Hulk in the reflection of the blades. It was only on screen for 10 seconds, but it cost an astonishing amount, it says. How much do you think it cost to make that suit? A Hollywood suit, a tan and brown Wolverine suit.
I'm going to say $200,000.
It's $100,000, but I wouldn't have thought it made, it took more than $5,000 to make a fucking suit.
I was guessing high. It sounded like it was going to be a lot of money.
$100,000. I mean, that's why these damn budgets balloon up.
This is why your cosplay sucks, Bill.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's cosplay sucks unless you're spending $100,000.
I know, right?
And I guess there's companies that work with Hollywood studios that are like, oh, what do you need? You know, oh, I need a Wolverine suit brown. Well, if it's for you, Disney, it's $100,000.
I guess that's my question. Why would the brown and tan one cost $200,000? How much did the yellow and blue one cost?
Why didn't they just use the yellow and blue and in post change the colors
This
of
is
it?
what I'm saying. I've been seeing stories on YouTube where they turn them into grayscale so they can turn them into the next part of X-Force.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
It says here, due to budget and time constraints, the production couldn't afford to make many expensive variant suits, so they opted for more economical choices like Old Man Logan.
Wait.
Remember there was a scene where there was an Old Man Logan. Maybe that's wrong, actually, because their Old Man Logan was the Logan movie.
Right.
But there was like Patch.
I remember Patch. And I remember the one where it was like the guy with one hand in the alley.
That's.
I remember like
that might be what they're calling Old Man Logan.
I remember like they called it comic accurate height Wolverine, and he was like 4 foot tall.
Yeah. What that effect cost? $100,000.
How much did they pay Henry Cavill?
Yeah.
To get sick on cigars?
$100,000.
All right, so they couldn't suit up, huh?
I just can't believe this stuff costs that much money.
Do you think it was like, hey, we're going to throw this in here and we need it by Thursday? And they're like, it's Monday. And they're like, drop everything you're doing and get on it. So they put like a rush on it, and that just blew it up.
A $95,000 rush charge.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
Oh, my God. All right, moving on. I know you're a big Disney guy.
I am.
I know you love the Disney parks. From the Hollywood Reporter, this one's called It's a Cult and Walt's the Messiah. Meet the couple who sued Disney over secretive Club 33.
Club 33 is the restaurant that I once upon a time errantly called Club 23 because of D23.
That's right. You did mention this before.
Yeah, restaurant or Club 33 is like a highly exclusive thing, like much more exclusive than D23. So New Orleans Square is the part of Disneyland where Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion are. And on the second floor of one of the New Orleans Square buildings, there's this exclusive restaurant that you can only get to. Walt used to use it to entertain like dignitaries and special guests that came to the park. It's like a very expensive restaurant. And present day, you can only get to it if you're a member of this secretive Club 33, which I think you have to get like win a lottery to even have a chance to spend the money to get into the club. So it's like a very exclusive, deal, to say the least. And since that was so popular, there's also now D23 restaurants in each of the 4 Florida parks as well.
D23 or Club 33?
I'm sorry, Club 33. You're right. I'm doing it again. So Club 33. And there's like, they're kind of hidden in plain sight. And you might look at like the second floor of a building and be like, I wonder what that is. It's this exclusive restaurant that if you're not part of Club 33, you just won't even know.
Well, shit, you knew all about it. So is this anything like in Orlando? We talked about the Princess's Castle or whatever they call it, Cinderella's Castle. Is it the same thing as there because exclusive?
I don't think that has anything to do with Club 33. Although if you're going to have a chance at staying there, being a Club 33 member might be a good start.
Yeah.
So somebody sued over it, huh?
Scott and Diana Anderson. You know them. Scott and Diana? You don't know Scott? Scott and Diana Anderson, a couple who spent $400,000 in legal battles after being expelled from Disneyland's exclusive Club 33, are sharing their experiences. The Andersons joined the club after a 12-year wait, paying $50,000 in dues, and enjoyed their membership for 5 years before being expelled following a 2017 incident where Scott was found unwell in the park.
He drank too much.
Yep. Disney accused him of being drunk, but Scott claims it was vestibular migraines. Vestibular migraines.
I get migraines. I don't know if there's vestibular or not.
I don't even know what that is. The couple fought for reinstatement and damages, but ultimately lost the case. They alleged they were unfairly targeted after raising concerns about sexual harassment and share inside stories about the secretive, expensive, and highly exclusive club, including privileges like skipping lines, private dining events, and access to rare Disney memorabilia. Despite their legal efforts, they were unable to return to the club, though they still visit the parks occasionally.
Wow. I mean, that was one of the other big things for Club 33. Walt Disney didn't let any alcohol be sold in the parks. And Club 33 was, for the longest time, the only place you could buy alcohol inside Disneyland. And I think when they opened up Galaxy's Edge, Now you can buy alcohol in Galaxy's Edge at Oga's Cantina.
Yeah, you told me it was like a $40 shot or something ridiculous.
Oh,
like
it's
that.
ridiculous. You get like a beer flight and it costs like $80 because it comes in like a serving tray of like ceramic Rancor teeth that you get to take home with you.
Well, that's kind of worth it.
It's kind of cool, but when am I ever going to drink out of a shot glass of Rancor tooth again, you know?
Tonight, sir.
Every Thursday when we record.
Bring it with you every Thursday.
I don't have one. I never went to Oga's Cantina.
All right, moving on. What's your favorite streaming channel?
Hulu.
What's the channel you watch the least?
Netflix.
Netflix adds 5 million subscribers as profits and margins soar. The streaming giant revealed its Q3 earnings on Thursday. I read this and I'm like, who the hell is still watching Netflix? Nobody's talking about anything on Netflix except for like rare occasions.
You know the craziest thing about Netflix? People at work will talk about things on Netflix. We did our show about 80s, 90s scandals. We talked about the Menendez brothers. And now there's this Menendez true crime docu-series type thing on Netflix. And people were talking about it. And I thought, no shit, I'm going to go home and watch that. Anytime I sit down in front of my television, the last thing I think in my head is, I'm going to hit this Netflix button right here on my remote control. I'm going right to YouTube. You know what? I take it back. Hulu's not my favorite streamer. YouTube's my favorite streamer.
Yeah, same.
I go there first and foremost all the time. If I want to watch live TV, I have live TV through Hulu. But last thought I ever have in my head is, in fact, I'm probably using Prime more now because of Thursday Night Football.
Prime.
So Netflix is dead last, man.
They're dead last for me, but like it's YouTube, Tubi. I always find myself just going to Tubi. Tubi's always number 2. And number 3 is probably Hulu at this point. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we have, like, my lineup on my screen is YouTube, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Netflix, and we have Discovery Channel.
And the Mystery Science Theater 3000 channel.
MST3K?
Can't forget
of
that.
Course, yes. Yes, of course.
I was just surprised that this thing's still doing so well when nobody's talking about the content on there. But then again, I'm thinking maybe they are. Maybe they are talking about the content there. We're just not watching it, and everything is so polarized everywhere now.
It could be. I mean, the thing with Netflix is everything's a movie. Everything's a huge time sink. In my head, for me to sit down and watch Netflix, it's like, it's not like sitting down and watching an episode of Only Murders in the Building. You know, like I can sit down and kill a half hour. I can kill 45 minutes. It's not an hour and a half to a 2-hour time sink to watch something on Netflix.
Yeah. Baby Reindeer was on there. That can't be the reason for the growth, is it? One show?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It was the Menendez thing. There's all kinds of things that people at my work talk about, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'd even care to watch that.
So your work is talking about it. Yeah. Mine never talks about this channel.
You know what a lot of people talk about is stuff on Showtime.
Showtime's still around?
Showtime is still a thing. And I don't have it. I've never had Showtime. Oh, also, big talk about the Penguin show on Max.
Really? People are liking it.
People are loving it. They're saying it might be the best Batman thing they've seen since Batman 89.
Yeah, my business partner at work loves it. He's like, it's great.
They said if you were okay with it up to this point, last week's episode, or maybe earlier this week's episode, I don't know when it drops, best thing ever.
Shit, I might have to check it out. It's mafia stuff. I'm not that into mafia stuff.
Yeah. That's what they say. It's like real world crime. It's not as fantastic. Like, you like the grounded superhero stuff, you said, though.
Yeah, I do. All right, I'll give it a shot. You talked me into it. That wasn't hard, was it? You just said the right thing. Well, guys who are listening, I got something for your wives. Dirty Dancing Broadway musical in the works for 2025. Yeah, my wife's going to make me go now that she's probably hearing this for the first time in her car driving home from work. Hi, Amy. Lionsgate. You know Lionsgate.
Uh-oh.
Lionsgate wants theater goers to have the time of their lives, so the studio is adapting Dirty Dancing as a Broadway musical. Dirty Dancing, the musical, will launch in late 2025 with aspirations for Broadway as well as a North American run. From there, producers plan to expand the show to theater markets in Asia, Australia, Latin America, Mars, Jupiter.
Squonks.
Eleanor Bergstein, who wrote the film's screenplay, is developing the show and writing the book of the musical. The musicals get books now?
Sure.
Okay.
Hamilton did. This is not Hamilton.
Oh, no. Well, it might be. I never saw Hamilton, so I can't.
Hamilton's fantastic.
Lonnie Price, who played Neil Kellerman in Dirty Dancing, will direct the re-envisioned production.
Let's not forget what else Lionsgate did with Dirty Dancing. Let me point you to Havana Nights.
Oh,
Dirty Dancing 2. That thing was a big turd.
Did that come out the same time as Lambada, the Forbidden Dance?
No, much after, but they should have learned from that. Yeah, this ain't no Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo.
You haven't seen Sex Appeal until you've seen Lambada, the Forbidden Dance, coming from Canon Films.
Summer 1978.
All right, here's my last story. So you know I'm a huge Eddie Van Halen fan. Alex Van Halen, the brother and drummer of,
Van Halen?
Well, Van Halen.
Yeah.
How'd you put that together?
Well, some people can deduce things and, other people.
Yeah. Well, he and his brother were very, very close, like ridiculously close. Like neither of them guys really ever played with anybody else but each other. They were so close. So when Eddie died, Alex has been very quiet. Like Alex has sold his drums off the eBay or whatever to make some money for charity, I think. But
I was going to say, is he that hard up?
Nah, it's
like a charitable thing.
Yeah, okay. And he said, looking at these remind me of Eddie and all that. I get that. So he's putting out a book. It comes out October 22nd. It's called Brothers.
Oh, brother.
So people have gotten to read it already, and now things are starting to leak out. For example, they were talking about a Eddie Van Halen type of tribute show where everybody was going to get back together who was ever in Van Halen. Maybe the kid was going to join, Eddie's kid. So Sammy
Wolfie.
And Dave, yeah. And the whole thing stalled. So we started to hear rumors about it, but we were like, well, what happened to it? Well, the book tells us that David Lee Roth threw a hissy fit because Alex wanted to show almost have like a moment of just Eddie, just to show off some Eddie, like a tribute to Eddie. And Dave's crazy, man.
Which is what it's all about.
Yeah, and Dave doesn't like it. He does not like Eddie getting too much of that. This has been part of the reason they fight throughout their entire career.
I read a story as well that David Lee Roth was like basically calling Wolfie like a Nepo baby, and the only reason he even has a music career is because of his, lineage.
Yeah, completely.
Completely called him dog shit.
Yeah, he's angry right now.
Very.
Dave's angry. But this isn't about that. This is something different.
Okay.
Alex Van Halen is exploring the idea of using artificial intelligence to complete unreleased Van Halen tracks by analyzing Eddie Van Halen's guitar playing patterns.
It's like a computer like smoke and blow up because it can't compute.
Amazing. Tries to do his taps. And,
yeah.
They already have a AI music maker, so I don't. He went to OpenAI. He didn't go to the people that made the music maker. So in a recent interview, Alex revealed that he contacted OpenAI, who makes ChatGPT, with hopes of generating new Eddie-style riffs and solos. He also suggested Robert Plant as a potential lead vocalist for the project, despite not having spoken to him in over 30 years.
Well,
who's the first person you think of when you want to make a fictional Van Halen project? It would be Robert Plant.
I guess.
No, it wouldn't. It would be anybody younger.
Well, right.
This proposal may spark debate, Scott, as Eddie's son, who you said was Wolfgang Van Halen, has previously expressed reluctance about releasing unfinished material. Meanwhile, a final song by Eddie and Alex, titled Unfinished, will be part of Alex's upcoming memoir, Brothers, releasing on October 22nd. So we'll get something. But apparently there's a lot of Eddie Van Halen stuff just left around in, different pieces.
Yeah, different various states of unfinishedness.
Yeah. I think it would be great to take that stuff, give it to other musicians and be like, what would you do? And make it a tribute to Eddie.
Yeah, I could see that being a cool piece.
Why does he want to do the AI
Does
thing?
Wolfgang have the final say in, is he like the final estate or the executor of the estate?
He may be, because he has commented on a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the fact that I know there's still stuff in the vault, it's because, he talks about it.
Okay.
So he must have access to it.
But he doesn't want it to see the light of day.
I guess not in a way that might just, it's kind of like why we don't want Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, because it kind of tarnishes.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know, man.
But at the same time, do you think that by releasing it, it would be part of Alex's grieving process to kind of get it out there and kind of relive the glory days of creating music with his brother? Or is this a cash grab? I wouldn't see him do it as a cash grab.
Yeah, I
wouldn't want to believe he did it as a cash grab.
I would think he wouldn't do it as I think it's, I know. You know what? I hadn't even thought of that.
Because he has to have some integrity. Like there has to be some integrity feelings towards Eddie. And like I said, the relationship, he wouldn't be just writing a book and all this shit just to cash in.
Yeah, he's not Gene Simmons.
Right. No, I never. Exactly. That's a perfect way of putting it.
Yeah. All right. So maybe it is something for him. Look, don't do the AI thing. There's still great human guitar players who would love a chance to sort of collaborate with Eddie Van Halen's riffs. And don't put them out as singles. Don't try to make money on it so much as you're just trying to like share stuff with the fans.
Like milking it.
That it would seem like it's like when Prince dies, his family puts out all these songs. When Frank Zappa dies, his family puts out all these songs. He didn't want them out. Frank didn't want them out.
Do like a big one-time videotaped concert, almost like how they do the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. Have all different musicians come, play in tribute, stand in, play the piece that they put together. Everybody gets a different song. You record it once, you stream it. You can make some money off of it that way, but don't fucking try and tour it. Don't try and sell it. You know what I mean? Like, just put it out there, do it that way. If it's truly a tribute, I think that's a fitting tribute.
Yeah, we got YouTube now. Put it on YouTube.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a big problem with a lot of these bands. Like, their spouses go and release the music. Their husbands go to it when they die. And all, it's like the artist didn't want these songs that they worked on released. But it's a different thing if you only have a riff here and there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it? I think it is.
That can become anything. Yeah. I mean, that's a seed that can sprout into something.
Yeah. Even if Jimi Hendrix has licks out there that he never really did anything with, I think that would be a cool idea.
Sure.
But not open AI. We do not need AI doing it.
No, because it's going to be very milquetoast. It's going to be very, predictable. You know what I mean? And not in a good way.
Yeah. In an AI way.
Very much in an AI way. And not in an authentic way. And not in a way it's going to move the needle at all in a positive direction.
I don't know how far this AI music's going to go. We had an episode not too long ago where we showed some examples. But
we had our own theme song.
But it was not great sounding stuff. Like, it wasn't high fidelity stuff. It wasn't interesting flavors. It was just, okay, this is what something would sound like if AI made it. It just wasn't special. Yeah, don't do this, Alex.
Would you be okay if AI would put out an idea and real musicians would listen to it and get inspired by it and then turn that into something real? Or is that still corny enough to not be good?
Excellent idea. That's what we do now. We listen to old fucking albums and we put our own spin on it.
Inspiration.
So if AI is going to spit out, hey, here's a riff or here's a passage or here's a passage, here's a song progression.
This is the Bible. It's a passage.
I know. What the fuck am I thinking? Yeah, I think that would be a great use of AI. I love AI as a tool for inspiration, but not the final output.
But even still, listening to old albums, that's people inspiring people to create music. Listening to AI, it's people inspiring computers, inspiring people to create music. There's still like a touch in between there that's just not real enough for me.
I was hoping you wouldn't spot that.
Yeah.
It would just let me get by on that
one. No, I'm not like I'm not okay with that.
Yeah. That's where I think I'm more welcoming AI than a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people feel the way you do.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it because I look at it like a computer's just taking data that's out there and done the research and is giving it to me so I don't have to do the research. But
well, I say this as a guy that sits here and watches you read news stories that are poorly written because they're condensed by AI and it doesn't fully grasp the language.
And with that, that's the last story.
That's it. I'm out of here. I've had enough. All right. Well, with that, I really think we embodied this new catchphrase, this new tagline. Stupid, yet strangely satisfying. Strangely satisfying. Again, hopefully you learned something about some cryptids. If we didn't cover your fave, let us hear about it. You always do, and it's always in a fun way. So hope to hear from you. Tell a friend. We'll keep growing this thing. We'll talk to you next week.
Why can't you go back where you came from? Leave us alone! Go!